We're at the corner of Wall and Broad. We're kind of got a flat day going so far, but of course the Nasdaq's getting pounded. A lot of the disappointing numbers out of Alphabet, of Google fame, of course, is weighing on that index for the time being. Careening now about 242 points. That's about 2%. Let's get the read on all of this with Tim Anderson at the New York Stock Exchange. Tim, what's going on here?
Well, clearly the market has taken on a much more defensive posture over the last couple of weeks. And the Middle East situation plays into it a little bit. But also, we're right in the heart of earnings season right now. You mentioned Google or Alphabet down quite a bit, but it was right up near its all-time highs. And when stocks are right near their all-time highs, they have very little room for any type of a miss when it comes to earnings. People are a little bit concerned about their ad revenues going forward. And there is also some selling, profit taking in other big cap tech names. Because of that, the Nasdaq is the leader on the way down today.
You know, it's interesting, too, Tim, and you and I got into this before when all of this complication started in the Middle East, that the market impact has been limited. There have been other worries. There may be a backup in interest rates and inflation that seem to be relatively short-lived. I mean, now the focus seems to be, as you indicated, on earnings, but you notice some weird activity going on, you know, with the early interest in oil that's since dissipated, the early interest in gold that has dissipated somewhat. But the one area where it's not is in Bitcoin. Now, once again, flirting with the $35,000 coin level. It's an interesting play or defensive play. What do you make of it?
Well, it could be getting a little bit of a flight to quality play. Right. Gold has rallied from 1825 up to very close to 2,000.
True.
Clearly a little bit of a flight to quality or a hedge against global escalation play. But also there's some things specific to Bitcoin in terms of many people feel that the SEC is on the verge of finally allowing or sanctioning a couple of Bitcoin dominant ETFs. Right. I'm not totally up on that story, but I know that that's out there, and that's responsible, I think, for a good part of the Bitcoin move above 30,000.
You know, the markets are not responding to this, you know, Israeli crisis as they did 50 years ago to the last one, of course, with the Yom Kippur War that started and ultimately led to an oil embargo and inflation. And you and I might remember that, maybe me more than you, but we remember that. And I'm just wondering why we're not seeing that now. I understand certainly it's a different world, but the markets are handling this in relatively good stride. What do you think?
Look, the history of these Israeli conflicts with usually what are always non-nation entities is that they don't really go on for very long. And I think that the market is on edge here. And it seems a little funny to say it, but when the ground war into Gaza does start, I think that that's when the market will rally sharply, because that would be a signal to the market that it's going to be very sharp, very quick, and then we're going to be at the end of it. And as long as the market can see the light at the end of the tunnel, no pun intended, it will applaud the beginning of that action.
We shall see. Tim, great catching up with you. Tim Anderson, the Managing Director at TJM Investments, on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Thank you, my friend.